Hello there my RPG lovers and welcome to another video. It's been a while since we talked about Bleak Faith. If you don't remember, this is an open world action RPG that's being developed by only a couple of guys. The first demo for the game showed a lot of promise when it comes to the gameplay, but it was pretty obvious the game was still in early development. After the demo, Bleak Faith had a successful Kickstarter campaign, and that allowed the developer to work even harder on this ambitious project. After a couple of months since then, we got some new gameplay footage and it was a major improvement from what we saw in the demo. The graphics looked a lot better, but more importantly the gameplay had a lot more improvements as well. So pretty much every time when we see something new from Bleak Faith, it's a major improvement from what was previously shown. And the newest gameplay footage is no different. This new gameplay footage just came out a couple of days ago and it looks really good. The world design looks better than ever, and we can see how open it actually is. It seems like the exploration will have a lot of potential, judging by these locations. If you didn't notice already, Bleak Faith definitely has a light horror element, which we could see in the past as well. But this footage takes it even further, especially when the character is trying to sneak by these huge guardian robots or whatever this thing is. You can feel the tension by just watching this scene. Fighting them was probably not a good idea. Speaking about fighting, there is a lot of that in the new gameplay footage. We can see some pretty neat fight scenes where the player is using regular attacks and some abilities as well. The overall speed of the combat seems to be pretty good. It might seem to be more fast-paced than the combat in previous footage, but I think that's mostly because the player is using one-handed sword, so his attacks are obviously faster. And these regular mobs he's fighting can be really fast and agile. The combat doesn't seem to lack impact, which is really important in these types of games. Sound effects are pretty decent, and compared to the old footage, it's a massive improvement. Speaking about the old footage, here's some quick comparison, just to see what I'm talking about. There is still work to be done on all fields, and all of this is just work in progress. But we'll soon get a new demo for the game, which should look very similar to this gameplay footage, and I can't wait to try it out and talk about it. Anyway, let's take a look at some more interesting moments from the new gameplay video. We can see the new detection indicator, I guess, which is represented by the circle. If you didn't know already, this game has a stealth mechanic. You can sneak around and play like an assassin, and I guess we'll get the chance to build our character around this playstyle. The map design definitely seems to be suited for this kind of a playstyle. The gameplay with the bow can also fit this playstyle as well. We can see a couple of scenes where the player uses his bow in combat, and I like how it works. This is a good example of how the AI works as well. After a couple of shots, the NPC creates a shield around him, so exploiting the stealth mechanic with the bow doesn't seem to be the option. The whole AI system has a lot of potential to make the game even more interesting, and we talked about this in my previous videos a lot. What can make this world really unique is the ecosystem of factions and AI groups. This is a big feature that I look forward to see because it has a lot of potential for creating unique playthroughs for a couple of reasons. Basically, everyone in this world will try to compete against the player, but among themselves as well. This is also related to that survival aspect as well, because the goal is to create a world where everyone is trying to do the same thing: survive. The UI had a major facelift. It's minimalistic and it doesn't get in the way of the gameplay a lot. I kinda like it, but I'm not so sure about the floating UI. It's interesting at first, but I would prefer the option to turn that off or at least reduce the floating effects. But we'll see how that goes in the future. And the most exciting part of this gameplay footage is the boss fight near the end of the video.
When God can return, an animal will bite through its own leg to survive.
The boss is like some sort of a samurai and the fight looks really interesting. The boss has more than a couple of abilities that the player has to avoid. He even combines a couple of these abilities at the end, which looks pretty challenging to avoid. And speaking about challenge, I think the developers have a pretty good idea of how to make a challenging but fair encounters. The difficulty is a complex topic, it will depend on a lot of factors. But judging by all the footage we could see so far, I think the game will have a decent amount of challenge even for the veteran Dark Souls players. The release date for the game itself is set for the second quarter of 2021, but that's still unsure. Here's what developers had to say about the release date. A final release date does not mean the game stops evolving. We hope we've proven by our activity here just how much this game means to us, and that the release date simply means we are in the battlefield together, expanding and evolving the game while we also get to play it. We hope that for you that have tracked our progress, you can see just how much the community feedback impacts the game. Consider that at the time we made a lot of these estimates, we had a certain vision in the game on our hands, but a lot of people voiced their concerns that the quality was not up to par, be it animations or sound design or whatever. This demo was a huge milestone for us because the general feedback for the first time was overwhelmingly positive in terms of the quality, and we're not even done polishing and building up, but we're over the halfway mark. This whole development process was always transparent. I think it's important to acknowledge the community feedback, and that's exactly what these guys are doing. That's one of the strongest aspects of all indie developers, I guess. They can communicate directly with their audience with no PR bullshit. Anyway, I will continue to cover this game in the future, and if you're interested to see that, make sure you stick around. You can also join their Discord server if you want more information. You can even ask questions directly to the developers, they're really active on Discord since day one. That would be all for this video. Make sure you press the thumbs up button if you like the video, that way you'll help me reach more people. Don't forget to subscribe for more content and click on the bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads. Special thanks to my Patreons, and if you as well want to become one of them, all the links are in the description. Patreon is definitely the best place to directly support my work, and every contribution is highly appreciated. That would be all, and I'll see you in the next one.